Today, Steve Blomdale, Hannah George and Leisha Winter will be discussing the issue of appropriately assisting physically disabled people within the community. This is a prominent issue within our local community. The video presentation aims to inform you, the viewer, how to appropriately identify and offer assistance to someone when needed.
Naylor, as cited in Austin, suggests that fluid and complex identities based on gender, ethnicity, class, and so on contribute to who we are and inevitably influence the pedagogical and curricular decisions we make. We need to listen to our own voices in order to understand more closely the impact of our own life experiences. This quote implies that everybody needs to take into consideration other people's experiences and knowledge of life. As able-bodied people, we do not always understand how our actions or ideas can negatively impact someone with physical incapabilities. As a society, we need to move away from stereotypical assumptions in regards to what a person should be capable of doing with their lives, whether they are able-bodied or not.
Lingard, Mills and Hayes, as cited in Austin, for example, suggest that they have developed the concept of productive pedagogies as a way to reflect upon what might make a difference for different groups of students. They suggest that teachers need to incorporate difference into their lessons by consulting with the physically disabled students and their parents as to what is suitable for them to achieve. Allowing for open communication will ensure that the student can accomplish the best possible outcome while integrating difference between the classroom environment. The following interactive educational video clips show how difficult it is for physically disabled people in the community to navigate their way around what seems to be simple obstacles to able-bodied people.
This clip shows how a person who cannot use their lower body needs assistance to get out of the car and into their wheelchair. A carer or helper puts on the brakes and holds onto the back of the wheelchair and helps them get into it. As a member of the community, you can go over to the carer and disabled person and offer to help. Ask them if they would like you to hold the wheelchair steady while the carer helps the person into the chair.
As you can see, the person in the wheelchair needs to find an alternative route into the shopping centre. There is a ramp to the left of the main entrance where the carer needs to assist the person by pushing them up the ramp. The ramp shown in the clip needs restoring as the carer has to tilt the wheelchair back in order for the wheelchair to get over the bump. This can be harmful to both carer and the disabled person.
As the shopping centre does not have automatic doors, the carer needs someone to help open the door. This is where you come in. If you see a carer needing assistance, go over to them and ask if they would like you to help them. You can offer to hold the door while the carer pushes the person through the door. Having automatic doors would make accessibility into community venues easier for physically disabled people who do not have carers.
In some stores, the aisles are often narrow with not much space to move around in. This makes accessibility for disabled people very difficult. A way in which you can offer assistance is to ask if you can get an item for them or if they would like you to move something out of the way so they can get past. The shops should consider where they are placing their display stands, as these are the main offenders when it comes to obstacles.
When entering the supermarket, a person who is not physically disabled can walk through the spin gates, whereas a person who is physically disabled has to find another way. In the clip shown, the physically disabled had to go through one of the checkouts. When approaching the supermarket, there was no sign to show where a disabled person was to enter. However, when exiting the supermarket, there was a big wheelchair sign showing where the wider exit was. This indicated to the shoppers where the only disabled checkout was located.
This clip is an example of an able-bodied person and a physically disabled person entering a building. The disabled person has to use a ramp which takes more time than being able to walk up the stairs. The ramp can be used for people who are in wheelchairs and for people who need to use crutches. Having the ramp made accessibility easier and safer for the person using it. Without the ramp, the person would have struggled going up the stairs and would have been at risk of further injury.
To assist the person in a wheelchair to access the disabled toilets, the carer must open the door for them. The carer must put the brakes on the wheelchair and hold it steady so the disabled person can lift themselves out of the chair and onto the toilet seat. Once finished, the carer must then hold the wheelchair steady so the disabled person can lift themselves back onto it and put their seatbelt on. The carer then disables the brakes and pushes the disabled person out of the toilet.
In this clip, the carer must open the gate and push the disabled through into the swing area. The carer then turns the wheelchair around so that they can push the person up the ramp and into position on the swing. They must then thread the chains through the rear wheels of the chair to secure it safely to the swing. The carer then needs help to lift the heavy plastic ramp down so that the chair can swing freely. This is where you may be able to assist them. Once the ramp has been placed on the floor back where it belongs, the carer stands next to the disabled person in the designated area and gently pushes the swing back and forth so that the disabled person is able to use the swing. Once the disabled person has finished in the swing, you may be able to assist the carer again. You can do this by assisting them to lift the ramp back up into position when they are finished. The carer then undoes the chains from behind the rear wheels of the chair and gently pulls the disabled person down the ramp. They then open the gate and push the person out of the area.
This clip shows how a person who is using crutches can struggle to go upstairs if there is no ramp. As the person uses crutches, struggles with her bags, you can approach the person and ask if they would like you to help hold anything for them. If the person does not want you to help them, you should give them some space and allow them to complete the task at their own pace. The physically disabled person struggles, while a person who is fully able can walk upstairs with ease.
A person who is using crutches cannot go upstairs easily, so they need another way. The elevator does not have any signs to show where it is located. If you see them trying to go up the stairs, you can let them know where the elevator is. As the clip shows, the person needs you to hold the door open for them. Outside the elevator, there is a sign that says not to use in a fire. This means that when there is a fire, the disabled person has to use a special inflatable slide to safely get out of the building.
In conclusion, These clips are here to assist and raise awareness to everybody within the community on how difficult and stressful it can be for someone with a physical disability. On the whole, before assisting a physically disabled person, you should ask them if they need assistance beforehand, as they may feel competent in performing the tasks by themselves.